The very world we know took an unexpected turn this year. This year has awakened me, has awakened us all, has awakened us to truths we can no longer ignore. Women all over the world are hurting. Women all over the world need to be heard. So join me as I embark on a journey that will lead me into conversations with women all over the world on issues that women of this generation face on a global scale. Hi Gresya, how are you doing today?
Hi, Bárbara. I'm good. And you?
I'm doing well. I'm so happy that you're able to do this with me and you took the time to join in on my weird adventure here that I'm doing.
Yes, thanks for having me also.
Of course. So I know it's super late over in Indonesia right now. You're 12 hours of a difference for me. So it's almost 11 a.m. for me and it's 11 p.m. over there. So it's completely different, other side of the world.
Yeah, but it's okay.
Yeah.
At least we share something good for the women outside, right?
Yes. Well, I'm so excited that you're able to take the time to do this with me and we can together talk about Indonesia, bring awareness, and hopefully empower some women. So before we get into the conversations that we're going to have, I want to do a little icebreaker where the audience will get to know a little bit about Indonesia through your eyes, okay? Perfect. So the first question that will be is, what is your favorite traditional dish?
Okay, actually, I love all of the spicy food. And here in Manado, especially Indonesia, I love nasi kuning, yellow rice.
Nasi kuning?
Nasi kuning.
Okay.
So they cook rice with coconut milk and a little bit of turmeric, so the rice becomes yellow. And then the company is fish and then crispy potatoes, but we can also mix with some grilled chicken with some sambal also, like that.
That sounds so good. My two favorite things are fish and spicy. So I put spicy on everything. And what is a popular fish there? What is the most popular fish that you eat?
Chakalang.
Chakalang?
We call chakalang. So it's, I don't know how to say it in English, but we call it chakalang.
I'm going to have to look it up later.
Pardon?
I'm going to have to look it up later to see which one it is.
Chakalang. You can search on Google. I don't know how to explain it in English.
It's okay. Well, that sounds delicious. So next one is, tell us a famous Indonesian saying.
Indonesian saying? You mean
like
words like
a phrase or something that you always say after a sentence or after you make a comment or something like that?
Okay, so it's like a praise or something. So okay, so the famous one, and I love this phrase also, it's bersakit-sakit dahulu, bersenang-senang kemudian. It's long.
Oh my god.
Headache.
Oh my god. Okay, you have to split that up in like 3 words for me. Say it again.
Okay. Bersakit-sakit dahulu.
Bersakit-sakit.
Bersakit-sakit dahulu.
Bersakit dahulu.
Bersenang-senang.
Bersenang-senang.
Kemudian.
What does that mean?
Yeah. It's longer.
I won't say it again. What does that mean?
Okay, it means that we do the hard work now, and then after that we can can enjoy the results in the future when everything is done.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like a motivation words or something.
Yeah,
So
no, that's beautiful, but difficult to say. So I'll say it in I'll say it in English for now. Okay. So, what is a popular hobby or fun activity to do in Indonesia?
Okay, actually we have a lot of things to do. You can do everything in Indonesia because we have so many travel options that you can enjoy. Absolutely, 100%. Like you can dive in Raja Ampat. Did you ever heard about Raja Ampat?
No, but I know you guys have beautiful oceans and waters, so I'm sure water activities is a very popular genre of things to do.
Yes, we have so many islands, and especially in Raja Ampat, they have like 1,000 islands, and they have the most biologically diverse coral reefs in the world.
Wow.
And also, if you like hiking, you can hike in Ranjani Mountain. You can Google it.
Yeah, I will.
Or you can watch sunrise in the top of Bromo Mountain. And also you can explore Komodo National Park. Do you know Komodo, the animal?
Yes.
Yes, that one.
So,
and then you can trek to see orangutan. Do you know
how
orangutan?
do you say it? How do you say it?
Orangutan.
Orangutan?
It's like a monkey.
No.
Similar with
Oh, okay. Oh, orangutan.
Yes.
We call it orangutan. I'm like, I thought you were saying an Indonesia city or some place that I don't know of. Yes, we know of orangutans. I don't think we have a lot here. I don't think so.
It's a limited edition, I think.
Yeah. No, but everything you said, it's one of my favorite things to do because I love nature. I love the ocean. I love hiking. I love animals. So all of those things you mentioned, I'm sold on wanting to go to Indonesia.
Yes. And so you will not gonna boring if you come here.
No. Well, I see all your pictures all the time and they're beautiful. Sometimes you'll have, because the water is so clean. You guys have very, very clean water.
Yeah, because of this pandemic, so I came to Manado, to my mom's house, to my village. So because we don't have many activities to do, so I just had the plan to travel around in Manado.
That's beautiful.
No, and I love to go to the beach, as you can see my Instagram.
No, I love everything that you post and are doing. I wish I could spend my pandemic in Indonesia right now. But, okay, so the next question is, what is your favorite city in Indonesia and why?
Okay, of course, I'm gonna say North Sulawesi, Manado, which I'm here now.
Okay.
Because I grew up here and my family still live here and I have a lot of moments here. And then because also we have so many travel options also, like Bunaken, maybe you ever heard about that?
No. It's funny, I have traveled a lot, but I have never been to, I guess, any Asian country. I've been to Morocco, which is in Africa. I went to UAE, so I guess that's in Asia, right? Dubai is in Asia, UAE. So yeah, that's the only place in Asia that I've ever been to. But I'm dying to go to Asia, Indonesia. So many countries over there, and so much culture too. So, and I feel that your water, your oceans are very clean. Right now, Mauritius isn't though. What country is close to Mauritius, or what countries share the waters with Mauritius? Do you know?
Malaysia.
Malaysia. Yeah.
Philippines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, what's happening over there is so sad. I've been looking at the videos of all the animals and dolphins that are dying, and I'm just heartbroken because...
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw it.
Yeah, yesterday I was watching videos of dolphins washing up on shore, and I was just crying because I love animals and I love dolphins, so it's just so sad to see them go through that, and it's not even their fault. We're the ones that are ruining everything for the animals and the environment, so we have to do better. Okay, and the last question is, what is your favorite part about being an Indonesian woman and why?
My favorite part is maybe because they respect me for who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Like here we have so many tribes and we have so many different kind of beauty. Some other beauty with their white skin, and some are beautiful with their brown skin, which like me.
Yeah.
And for example, like in Manado is famous with the beautiful but with white skin.
Okay.
Beautiful woman with white skin.
Mm-hmm.
And while me, I'm totally different with them, but they still respect me, and also they're proud of me because I was represent this city to the International Beauty Pageant, Miss International in 2015.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's so because they respect me and they make me feel comfortable with who I am.
Mm-hmm. I love
and
that.
Also, what?
I love that. Do you feel that the Indonesia as a whole is accepting to everyone's color of their skin and the way that they look? Okay, I love that.
No discrimination.
I wish it could be here like that. Oh my gosh, yes, that's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, and also here you can here women and men are the same. So
okay.
Yeah, so we can do whatever, we can do the other things that men can do every day.
So like work and things like that.
Work and raise the children, have a marriage life, and then also we were lead by a women president.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow.
From 2001 to 2004.
Okay, I love that. That's amazing. So,
amazing.
Kind of interested in what you just said, because I feel that the conversation we're gonna get into today is, you would think that the issues that are going on in Indonesia wouldn't be happening with all the great things that are happening for women and equality and so on. So I'm interested to see where this conversation is going to go, because everything that you're saying is supposed to sound like the recipe for kind of a good balanced place where there's no violence, there's no issues. So we're going to watch a little video, and from there, we're going to get into the conversation.
Masih pakai seragam lengkap, tetap aja ada yang gangguin. Katanya sayang, tapi kok harus lapor tiap detik? Sayang harusnya nggak gini kan? Jangankan lapor, cerita aja susah. Emang bakal ada yang percaya?
Saya yang dilecehkan, kenapa saya yang disalahin juga?
Bukan salah kamu.
Kamu pantas dicintai,
Didengarkan, dihargai.
Kekerasan bisa terjadi pada siapa saja.
anak-anak,
remaja,
Ibu-ibu, siapa saja?
Apapun pakaiannya,
apapun tingkat pendidikannya,
atau strata ekonominya. Bisa terjadi di mana saja.
di rumah,
Di tempat kerja,
di jalan,
di sekolah,
di tempat umum,
Di tempat tidur.
kamu bisa berbuat sesuatu.
jangan diam.
Kita tidak boleh diam saja.
Saatnya bicara.
rangkul, dan dukung korban.
Bersatu.
Karena kekerasan tidak boleh ditoleransi.
Apapun alasannya.
Saya perempuan, saya perempuan,
Saya perempuan.
saya
So as you can see, Indonesia has been facing huge issues when it comes to violence, and especially violence, gender-based violence towards women. And you were actually one of the top countries when I was doing my research that I found had the most violence cases in at least parts of Asia. And so I'm interested because you did mention that there's a lot of equality when it comes to men and women, and there's a lot of basically harmony amongst the roles of men and women when it comes to childbearing and marriage and having kids and all of that and work. So it's interesting to see why there's so much violence when it comes to gender-based and women towards women. So I'm gonna show a little bit of facts or talk about a little facts that I found on the internet and my Google research, and then from there we can just dive in, okay?
Okay.
So obviously when you think about violence, there's 4 types of major violence. There's physical, sexual, emotional, that includes threats, humiliation, intimidation, and insults. And then there's economic. And the economic violence is more so not allowing the person to work or basically confiscating or stealing that person's money. And these issues are happening more so towards women. And I just want to understand kind of why that's happening, because recent study had shown that 2 in 1 Indonesian women, or 41%, have experienced at least 1 or more of these types of violence in their lifetime. Over 33% of women aged 15 to 64 years old have experienced physical and or sexual violence in their lifetime. And the study also collected information on restrictions or limitations that are imposed on some women. And so this is very, very rare cases, and I'm assuming it's more the more separated parts of Indonesia. But basically, when it comes to women's freedoms, they're restricted. 42% of them are restricted from basically seeing their friends, communicating with family, some religious practices, and even seeking health care without permission. So I don't know how. This is what I read, and I would love to kind of understand from your perspective, and you as a woman living in Indonesia, how much these cases are happening and why.
If you ask why, maybe because that women not really love themselves enough. So they're not respect themselves enough. Like, for example, I had my own experience before. It's like maybe 3 years ago. I had a ex, and when he was angry to me, he always used bad words, and then he always, when he was angry, he tried to, he tried to hit me. Yes, for 5 months we were together, and maybe I was learning from that experience, maybe because I'm not love myself enough, because if I love myself, I will not just use my emotion or my feeling only, but I will use also my logic to think that is if this a man is best for me or not, like that. So women mostly they just using their feelings. They're not using their logic. That's why the violence is happening.
So you think, and as soon as you said my ex and went into that conversation, I immediately could relate. And so do you feel that the high rates in violence are due to women not being able to stop a man from taking things further as far as any disrespect or violence, and they're just allowing it to happen?
For me, people can change. For me, people cannot change. So if you have this happen, I mean, if this happening in your life, so you need to move. You need to go out from that circle. So you need to save yourself from that, and you need to for me, women need to be smart enough for themselves, right? That's why our parents always want us, not want, but pushing us to have the highest education, because they want us to be very smart, especially a woman, their daughter. They want us to be smart, not just for our future, but smart enough to choose a man that can live with us also.
So do you think most of the violence cases are happening amongst relationships and marriage and things like that?
For now, maybe not, because even they are not in the relationship, or maybe they don't know each other, but the violence can happen. If it's the women, like maybe we call it a sexual harassment.
Yeah, kind of like on the street, like sexual harassment and.
Like the driver just came and see the women on the street, and they just touch the women boobies or something like that.
Yeah, so a couple interviews ago, I don't know if you saw my interview with Portugal, and I interviewed Anna, which she also was a part of Miss Supra as well, and we talked about sexual harassment and street harassment and how serious of it is, not just in Portugal, but so many parts of the world. But I have noticed that issues like that have been happening more intense in other countries, where they're not just shouting out, they're not just, saying comments, but they're actually touching and groping and doing all things. So is that something that happens in Indonesia?
Yes, also I want to share to you about some video that I watched from my friend IG story. It's like the driver, the driver, like how to say that object or something. The driver just came and then see a woman, which that woman used the, how to say that, not use the sexy clothes or something. It's just
conservative.
Yes, it's just a normal one. And then he just came to the woman and then just touch her boobies like that and then go.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And CCTV took the action.
Okay, you can finish your comment.
And then like that. So maybe later I will show to you. I will send to you by WhatsApp the video. Yes.
To me, because I think I want to understand, and I feel that I have a general idea that obviously violence comes from all sorts of direction towards women. They can either be strangers walking down the street, they can be in a relationship, they can be friends, and treat a friend with disrespect and put their hands on a female. But what I don't understand is why it's happening so much. Why do men think that this is okay, that they can do that? And I think once I kind of understand that, I'll be able to be like, all right, this is a plan. This is how we're going to fix it. We're going to make this a better place. So I think that's where I want to get.
Yes, me as well, because I don't know till now the answer is, but maybe because yeah, like what I said, we need to be smart enough to not to take care of ourselves, to so the man will respect us. But from the strangers, kind of like I told you before, I don't know why that happened.
So do they have laws in place for that or no?
Pardon?
They have got laws. You said that a woman was it the
Just walking on the street with the baby. Maybe she is like babysitter or something. So she just walk on the street on the. It's like a some kind like a townhouse or maybe something.
So my question was, you said you have a governor or a prime minister that was a woman. Okay.
Yes, president.
The president? So has she made any laws for women that experience that type of violence or anything in that nature?
Yes, actually they made it, but the violence is increased
Really?
every year.
Wow.
So maybe because the government not to
take it too serious, yeah.
not to taking this case serious, or just make the rules and then that's it, not take any action, so the strangers can do these things.
Yeah, because eventually if the police is not enforcing those laws, then women first are not going to feel the need to report it, because if the police isn't doing it or doing anything, then women aren't going to report it when it's happening. So yes, cases can increase, but it's up to the law enforcement to obviously implement the laws, and women having the kind of like courage, because you have to be courageous in order to prevent things like that and report it, because a lot of women, those things happen. And this is a conversation that I had with Anna from Portugal. We talked about how Portugal actually made it a law and illegal for men to shout things in the street. So Portugal is one of the first countries to do that. So if you say something to a woman walking down the street, you can go to jail in Portugal for doing that.
Really?
Yes. It's a new law that became, I believe it became effective in 2015. And so it's one of the only countries, it's very few, it's only 5 or 6 countries that have made those laws. But even in Portugal, this happened 5 years ago, where this law became a thing, and women are still fearful of reporting it. So even though it's a law and these men can get arrested, they're not saying it, they're not reporting it, and because they feel like there's no voice, or they don't want to make it a big deal, or whatever the case is.
Or maybe they feel embarrassed, because if you talk to the police, automatically your environment, your society will know if that things happen to you, and maybe can make them feel embarrassed, shame.
And I know that you had mentioned your past experience with your ex-boyfriend. So I kind of want to get into that a little bit, because obviously this platform is to help women in all sorts of ways, whether it's, helping them find the voice and the courage to speak up when violence is done to them on the street, or whether it's in relationships and kind of how to manage those types of violent relationship. Because one thing that I did find, a doctor in Indonesia said, survivors of violence need support to break out of the cycle or violence and rebuild their lives. So one of the biggest problems amongst women that have experienced violence is that they don't know how to get out of those relationships, because they think that the man will eventually get better, or he will stop, or he'll find some sort of way to be a better man. And so we as women tend to just go based off, like what you said, our emotions, and we say, okay, he has a good heart, he has good intentions, he just has this, side that's not so great that he has to work on. And so we're the ones that, in that point and in that case, we have to learn how to say no and how to cut it loose. And I kind of want to know, what was the ultimate factor for you? What made you basically end the relationship after you were experiencing those things with him?
Yeah, maybe because, like what I said before, I realized that people cannot change. Even you will work very hard for that, but believe me,
Nope.
he will not change. He will
Mhm.
not gonna change.
No.
Because for me, if people can change with two options. One, because of God.
Mm-hmm.
Second, because of the experience that they have. So they learn from their experience, so they can change. But if they don't want to learn and they don't want to change, so how about us? So
Mm-hmm.
we need to save ourselves.
Yeah.
So I realized that I was struggling with that situation for 5 months, and because our relationship also, my parents knows, my family knows about this relationship, and also I always share with my mom, and my mom said that even my mom she doesn't know about these issues about my ex,
Mm-hmm.
the bad
Yeah.
things he always did to me. But she can even
See it.
She
Mhm.
can even know it.
Mothers know everything.
Yeah. Yes. If she can even saw that I'm not happy with him, so my mom always try to talk to me to cut this relationship. Yeah, you're not happy with him, and I also realize to, okay, Gresya, you need to stop because this cannot happen
Yeah.
for forever. This need to be stopped,
Mm-hmm.
and you cannot change him because he always, after he hit you, he will say sorry,
And he'll
he will,
continue. Mm-hmm.
yes, he will try to how to say that, to make you feel like he'll change, but the fact is not. So
Yeah.
I try to save myself, because I realized that I need to love myself, because when I was with him, it's like my life is destroyed. My life was destroyed. So, and I'm still young,
Mm-hmm.
and I still have my family that I need to take care of it, and also I need to achieve my goals, my dreams.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I say to him to, better we cut, because our relationship is not good.
Mm-hmm.
It's not healthy.
Yeah. So it was more of, and I hear your doggy barking.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Is he a big or small dog?
My neighbor.
Oh, is that your dog?
No, it's not mine.
That's so funny. Yeah, I love dogs.
Is it bothering you?
Huh?
Is it bothering you?
No. I was like, oh my god, what dog do you have? I love dogs, so it's fine.
Actually, my dog's in Jakarta. But
Oh.
in Manado.
So I love that you're able to share that story and that testimony, because I also had a very similar experience, very, very similar, and you were smarter than me, because I was with this guy for 1 year. You were with him
Oh my
5
God,
months.
really?
Yeah, I waited a year. And it's because I think for so long I wanted to settle down and have a relationship and get married and do all these things. And when I was in the relationship, I realized that this guy is not the one at all. Like, there's no way that this is supposed to be what, you know, marriage and love is about. And so I don't know what it is, but I just sat there and I embraced it. I tried to help. I tried to be, I guess, the women of that we're supposed to be in relationships and assist and do all of those things. And there came a point where it was just getting so bad, so out of control, because he was taking advantage of me and how gracious I was and how much I basically took everything he gave me and didn't say anything. So for a while, it took me a while to realize that this isn't the place where God wants me to be, especially because I came to a point where I hated myself. I was so upset with who I became. I looked myself in the mirror and I said, this is not the woman that I'm sure God intended for you to be. And so after, I remember towards the end, he put his hands on me a few times and actually hit me a couple of times as well in a relationship, in the fights. And so there came a point at the end where he was apologizing with flowers. He took me to dinner and he had this whole long story of how sorry he is, how much better he's going to be. 3 days later, he does the same thing. And and so after that, that's when I realized this man is not going to change and I can't do anything to help him change. And so that's when I said, this is it. And I had to have no remorse. I had to completely block, delete, never speak to him again. And he was calling my family, he was calling my friends, he was calling everybody, going crazy because he could not believe that I blocked him and decided to just end it and never talk to him again. And so to this day, I haven't spoken to him. I blocked him and that was the end. And I think we have to get to a point with women where if you're experiencing some sort of violence and some sort of toxic environment in your relationship, you have to have no remorse. You have to choose yourself first. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, is this who I want to be as a woman? Do I want to be a victim of this? Or do I want to thrive and be successful? And you know, if I do end up in a relationship later on, then I want it to be amazing, where we both help each other out and we both grow an empire together and so on. So I had to get that into my head and understand that enough is enough. And when it came down to ending the relationship, I had to be cruel and cold and say, no, that's it. And I know that some relationships are a little bit more violent than others. I almost had to put a restraining order on him because he was following me around everywhere. And he was not understand. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He
It's
was
almost like a psychopath.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he was. And so
so you have a very, very bad experience in mind.
Yeah, and I lasted a year. So, but it's because this guy pretended to be a man of God. And so he was like always talking about praying, but he wasn't. He was faking it. And so I don't know, I guess I just because he was a narcissist. And so narcissists do things like that. Narcissist is a sickness where the person will pretend to be something they're not and they don't know who they are truly. And because of that, it causes relationship problems with other people and everybody else around you. And so when I got to that point, I almost put a restraining order because I was genuinely scared because he was out of control. And I know with other women, there are men that actually are very aggressive. Good thing I didn't live with him because I know there's women that live in toxic homes and in toxic marriages and with men that beat them. And there's actually organizations that I'm going to talk about that assist with victims and survivors and kind of take them in so that they can help them basically build themselves up on their own. And so there's different levels to this. There's starter levels, and there's medium, then there's intense levels. So there's definitely lots of ways that women can escape these relationships and get out of them. And so whatever the situation is, I know that there is a solution. You know, we are not called to be victims of any type of violence from men. We're called to thrive. We're very powerful. So yeah, I'm just, the more I hear about violence issues amongst women, the more I become passionate and sad, because we don't deserve that at all. So
yes. Actually, we don't deserve that, because you know, we born some children and we raise them and then we take care of them, and then how can we deserve the violence?
Yeah. And a lot of times I think, and there was a TED talk that I listened to, and I was watching that a man was speaking and saying, violence is not a woman's issue, it's a man's issue. And he was saying it because men that hit women and men that sexually assault women and do all these things to them, they have issues within themselves. Because men that are good men, that have good morals, have responsibility and a good understanding of how to treat people, don't do that. And so only a person that's mentally unstable and is sick and has issues within themselves, insecurities, they're not happy with themselves, so they basically take women that are vulnerable and use their strength on them to show that they're strong or something, but it's just them reflecting an insecurity.
Yes. I was reading on that also, some book.
Yeah. So I just love this conversation. So I want to thank you for obviously taking the time to doing this and being vulnerable.
Thank you for having me also, and I'm sorry I'm sorry for the mistaken if I have.
No, it's okay. You speak such good English. It's amazing, which is why I was so happy to be able to do this with you, because there's so many girls in Asia that I would love to have on, that I had the privilege of meeting through the pageants and international relations. So, but you're just amazing. You speak well English. You're very educated. You're doing so much as well, which I'm so happy that you actually cut your hair, and I love it. I think
Yeah, for some fresh feature.
love it. And so I want to talk about the last part is in organization, which you probably heard of, UNFPA. It's the United Nations Sexual Reproductive Health Agency. And so for any women in, especially in Indonesia, that are survivors of violence, they're supporting them in many ways. So they support mothers. They're supporting all sorts of different genres of women issues, but when it comes to violence, they're very active in their approach, and they have a very good kind of direct approach to assisting in that issue. And so one of the things that they're doing is obviously they're getting protection that includes legal assistance, medical assistance, and counseling as well. And they're bringing them on to what I mentioned earlier, a program where it helps them. It's kind of like an empowerment program that supports them as women and gives them confidence and skills they need to become independent and become basically independent on themselves and support themselves, which is amazing because I love that. And so obviously when it comes to this issue, it needs to be talked about more. More awareness needs to happen. We need to talk about how much it's happening throughout the world, what countries have it worse, and how we can try and basically join together to stop the issue from happening. And so I love the program. When I was reading about that program that they have, I love that idea because I believe we need so many programs. And I know many countries have these types of programs that help survivors and victims, but I've kind of always lost my voice. I've always been obsessed with the idea of having a program organization where women can come and feel empowered and kind of learn how to become better as women and become their best selves. So I encourage anybody that is going through any type of just situation, violence, harassment, toxic, whatever, seek other women for help, reach out. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Don't be afraid to use your voice to talk about your problem and find ways to get out of it, because that's not the end. Even if you're married, that's not where your life ends. And so I think we need to really empower women to get the courage to speak up and say and talk about these things that are happening so we can find a solution.
Yes, actually, I have my own organization also in Indonesia. We are a GCI fam. I always put on my IG story if you ever watching. Yes, we are women, so we are an organization with concern and focus on women issues. And also in GCI fam, we train the members to become a leader.
Oh, wow.
So yes,
I love that.
so that organization still potential, but this year it's gonna be, how to say that,
Like officially,
officially, yes, will
So
officially.
it hasn't launched yet. It hasn't started. It's been in the planning process.
Yes, it's still in the planning process.
Yes. So tell us the name. So, because I'm going to also talk about it on the Unmasked with Barbara Instagram, so we can help as well.
Thank you.
And what was the name again?
GCI fam. GCI fam.
Fam. Okay, perfect. GCI fam, guys. I would love to, we can maybe talk afterwards. I would love to somehow see what ways I can support and promote and bring awareness to that organization, because that's amazing. I love that.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe if we have, because this still pandemic, so we already make some events, but still in Zoom meeting because we cannot go out. So maybe if maybe in the future, if you can become some, how to say that, speaker.
Oh,
yeah, if you don't mind.
Yes, I would be honored. That would be amazing. Yeah, so we'll talk afterwards, because I would love.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Gresya. I hope you have a good night, because
thank you, Bárbara. It's okay.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Bárbara. Stay healthy, and stay safe.